Hey ladies and gents, this is Izduiz coming at you with a review of Urzokk, the Orc from Mythic Legions by Four Horsemen Toy Design. This here is Urzokk. The French have a word for something called beautiful ugliness. And I used to know what the word was, but I forgot it and I was too lazy to look it up. So just take my word for it. Beautiful ugliness pretty much exemplifies Urzokk the Orc. He is beautiful. He makes one want to weep with his unique brand of beauty. Let me just go over some of the details here. The shield, I really like the symbol on it. I don't know what it means, but it just looks fantastic. It's red and it's black, and it looks like he's gone through many a battle. It's got some rust, it's got some wear, it's got some sword strikes on it. So very nice, and it just pulls everything together and makes him look amazing and badass. And this is the same shield that you've seen before with other figures, but when it has this coloration and this battle damage and this paint and this wear on it, it's an orc shield. It's an orc shield. He is one of the armored orcs, not one of the bare-chested orcs. But this armor just screams orc as well. I mean, you've got all these ridges, and you've got all these spikes, and the pauldrons right here are really spiky. You've got divots and dings all over the place. It's not highly polished or anything, so it looks like he's seen many a battle. If you look at the legs, you've got these spiky leg armor, you got these spiky foot armor, these boots. Just amazing. And what's cool about it is the folds here. They're painted, but they're painted in such a way so that it looks like maybe they rusted, or the rivets have just kind of rusted. It's not the same clean paint job, and I'm sure that is 100% intentional, because it just looks like lived in, dirty, grungy orc armor with tons of divots and tons of dings in it. Let me turn him around here for you. This is the back. I love these spikes on the back. He has this collar here, which normally I'm not a big fan of, because I always think that when you're in battle, if you sneeze, you're going to poke your eyeball out. But for some reason on an orc, it just works. I mean, he's just so badass that he doesn't care if he pokes his eyeball out. Maybe it's just an occupational hazard, but it's a pliable piece, a pliable neck piece, so that he can still get a good range of articulation with his head. He's not bumping or rubbing on it at all. Another thing that makes him a little different, because he's a leader of the orcs, is this design on his face. So the battle paint, which is pretty nifty. He also comes with a second head without the design, and that is pretty amazing as well. Let's see. I popped the head and the neck peg out, so I'm going to replace it with the regular head. Okay. Nice thing about these Mythic Legions pieces is that they are nice and snug. None of these wobbly heads that you have to deal with Masters of the Universe on occasion. It's super duper snug. Urzokk also has this really super cool sword. I love the color scheme on it, on the hilt. He also comes with this axe, and just like the other axes, it can be single-bladed or double-bladed as well. So he is completely ready for war. He lives for war because he's an orc. I wanted to get him in a little bit of a battle squat here so you can see a little bit of the articulation so that he can be in a pose somewhat reminiscent of this Warcraft orc that has been one of my favorites for a long time. Warcraft orc I got in, I believe, 1998 from Blizzard, and the sculpt, it's in the paint and the design is still amazing, but that's what we had back in 1998, folks, which was, 18 years ago. You didn't have much in the way of articulation, but I kept him all this time just because he's still a beautiful piece of work. So I wanted to show him off to this guy to you guys. Everything is just swivels on this, but he's still amazing. I lost his tiny little orc hat, and I still mourn for it, but that was my favorite orc up until Urzokk came along, and now Urzokk has taken his place and is the leader. Now, these are orcs done right. I want to show you what an orc done wrong looks like, okay? Now, I wanted to compare and contrast this guy from the Lord of the Rings movies. I wanted to contrast him because it's just another orc to show you guys. Herzog, huge disappointment. As a matter of fact, I had him in the package. I hadn't taken him out, but my friend said, "Don't take him out because you will be disappointed." I love the design of this character from the Lord of the Rings, but this is how not to make an orc. This guy, I'm going to call the orc with a fork because he's got that, prosthesis there. So he's a forking orc, but horrible. And this just came out recently. You can't move his legs. He's just awful. And he's got a sad look on his face. So it was high time for us to get Urzokk and his orc brethren from Mythic Legions. Just a completely cool character. There we go. And one that is now going to be the definitive orc in my collection. Still love you, but you're going to have to be one of the guys in the background. All right, so that's my review of Urzokk, folks. Hope you enjoyed it.